I'm so excited to tell you about our modular mates. Our modular mates were designed in 1983 and have been a staple in Tupperware's catalog ever since. These are designed to save you waste, taste, and space in your kitchen cabinets. And the way that they work is kind of like Legos for ladies, or also you can add to 5, and that is all you need to know about putting your modular mates together in your cabinets. No matter what shape it is, on the bottom of each container it has a number, and this is a number 1. The number on the bottom tells you how tall it is. So the number 1 is always the shortest, and then we have the next size up is double the size of a 1, it's a 2, and then a 3, a 4, and a 5 is the tallest that we have. And this is super easy to use together because when you stack a 1 and a 2, that equals a 3, and you can see they're level against each other. A 1 and a 3 is equal to a 4, and a 1 and a 4 is equal to a 5. A 3 and a 2 is equal to a 5 as well. And you can stack these in your cabinets however works best for your particular cabinet size. The easiest way to determine what sizes you can have is to measure the from the top and bottom of your shelf, and we have the measurements here in the catalog that tell you how tall each of these containers are, and we can see how many you can fit high. And then you want to allow some space for you to pull this out of your cabinet with your hand, so you don't want it to be exactly flush with the top of your cabinet. The other thing is you also want to determine how wide you can go, and we usually measure that by determining the width of one of these and adding them across to see how wide you can go. We do have some charts that I'm going to be posting that will tell you the different sizes containers and what they hold, but I'm going to give you some ideas and share those with you throughout this demo. Right now in our catalog, you can purchase these in this pretty blue color, or you can purchase them with a black seal. I have red from my personal cabinet, so that's what I'm showing you some of these containers with, because that's the color I have in my cabinet. Now, again, the way that these work is they have a clear base, so you can see what you're storing inside, and that's a great reminder when you're constantly looking in your cabinets when you're making food that you're running low on something. So your subconscious registers that, but also you can be very disciplined if you always do a list. We have an Alexa, so that helps us because I can add items to my list as I'm using them up and tell Alexa to add it to my list. You can also tell if the seal is closed, because it will fit in here really nicely, and if it's open, it'll not be closed quite right, and you want to make sure that you do have it closed to keep everything airtight. Your dry goods and bagged goods can stay fresh in these containers up to a year, so that's a really long time to keep the life of those things. What happens is you do want to bring all of those bagged goods and box goods home and unbag them and put these into the containers without the boxes inside. And there's a couple of reasons, and one of them is a little bit of a disturbing story, but this is true what happens. All of those bagged goods and box goods are sealed with glue, and when they go and they sit on crates in warehouses for months at a time before they actually get into the grocery store shelves, is bugs can go and nest in that glue. And I don't know if anybody has ever heard of anyone or experienced themselves, maybe in your flour or your cereal or something it's really a dry good, you've seen little bugs crawling around. That is because you've probably brought them home from the grocery store. Not that you're a dirty person or that your kitchen is unclean, it's more that you've brought something contaminated into your home. And a lot of times people have told me that they have found things like that, and once they do, they end up throwing away hundreds and hundreds of dollars of staple items that they keep in their homes because they're afraid of what products those have gone into, those little critters. So these modular mates are really nice because if you were to bring a contaminated product home, what happens is those things don't have anywhere to breathe. So when you put it in a container, all of the little critters are going to reach for the top because they're looking for oxygen. So you'll know within a matter of minutes if you have anything contaminated. And wouldn't it be nice to know that you only have to throw away maybe a 5-pound bag of flour versus hundreds of dollars of groceries in your kitchen. The other thing is when you bring those home, if you have ingredients or recipe instructions that you need, I recommend that you take and cut that off the bag or the box and you tape it to the outside of your container. The reason you don't want to put it on the inside is, again, there were critters in there, and there's also mice and other things that run around, and you don't know if that's had any feces on the box or bag itself. So you'd much rather, I would much rather recommend you putting it on the outside, making sure it's not contaminating any of your food on the inside. So that's what I recommend for that. We do have labels that you can make yourself, or you can purchase labels if you're crafty. You could do vinyl on here. You could make your labels and place them on the front, and if you wanted a date as to when you purchased it, you could add a date on this as well. I typically don't, because I go through pretty much everything within a year, and I know if it's in the year, I'm good. And so some of the different sizes that I have are the super ovals and the rectangles. These are my two favorite shapes, and that's because these fit from the front of your cabinet to the back of your cabinet, so it does allow you to save the most amount of space. And what's nice is they do stack together. Again, all of these modular mates work together, so if you're putting a rectangular on a super oval on top of a rectangular, or vice versa, they do stack nicely when they're on your countertop space, and you can go ahead and intermingle those. We do also carry a regular oval and a square, and these also stack together, but you can also intermingle these if you were to have a square and an oval on top of a rectangular. You can do that, but you'll see that they stack nicely. But you just remember, when you're putting things in your cabinet and you have to hide something behind, it's going to be a little bit harder to find. And this is nice if you just are able to use the rectangular and super ovals, because they do save you the most space. You can easily see what you have inside and easily find everything. The super oval is 55% larger than your regular oval container, and the nice thing with that is, even though it's more than double the size, it's only a few dollars more. It's not double in price. So that's a nice thing about that as well. We do have an amazing starter set that it's our Get It All set, and you can get pretty much one of every size container that we have in this Get It All set. And this is a great investment for your kitchen. You'll pay you back. You'll save thousands of dollars over the course of the life of these containers, because they are a lifetime warranty and they are dishwasher safe. And again, the airtight, liquid tight seal. In here you can go ahead and stack these, like I said, so depending on what works best for you, you can do that. When you're picking out which shapes you want, I recommend that you think about what you have, and I do have a list that I can share with you that you can go through, and I usually tell my customers to go ahead and put a P or a S right next to those items. So if you like to pour something, I would put a P. If you're a scoop for like flour, I like to scoop it because it doesn't pour very easily. But pasta or rice, sometimes I like to pour that. But I put the P for pour and S for scoop next to it. And then we decide how much you normally buy. So if you normally buy a 5-pound bag of flour, we'll tell you which containers would work best to hold that 5-pound bag of flour. One of the other things that we have available is our super ovals do come, and our regular ovals come with a flat seal. And again, you can get it in either the blue or the black. But we do have an option for you to purchase a pour-all seal. And what's really nice about these is it has a nice large pour spout, so that when you're pouring, your food doesn't get bunched up in there, and it pours out very nice and evenly. And you can go ahead and interchange that with the flat seal on any of your super oval or regular oval containers. So that's something to keep in mind if you're interested for cereal or rice or anything like that, again, pouring. The super oval one is great for your cornstarch. You can use it for some other baked goods, like your baking products, like your baking soda, your baking powder. salt. I have flaxseed in here. I have other like small amounts of cornmeal and things that I don't buy a whole lot of. I have several of these in my baking area in my kitchen. This is the Super Oval 2, and this is a good one. I have a family-sized bag of milk chocolate chips. When we bake, I like to use sometimes milk chocolate versus semi-sweet, and I have dark chocolate and so forth. So this one has milk chocolate chips, but it's also a good size for a large bag of popcorn kernels, which I'm going to be showing you how you can make healthy popcorn in the microwave in 3 minutes as well. I can show you it the next time we get together. And this one here, I have panko breadcrumbs in. This is the Super Oval 3, and I also use this for oatmeal, like the big size container of oatmeal. I have it for pastas. I have it for, I buy it at Costco, the big size of craisins for when I do my holiday baking, and it stays fresh in here. You can use it for your chow mein noodles. You can use it for other pasta noodles if you want. This is the Super Oval 4, and this one I have a big Costco size of pancake mix. Anytime you can buy in bulk, thinking that when you're shopping, will I use this within a year, all of this within a year? It's best to buy in bulk because you will save yourself the most amount of money. So if you can do that, also if your space allows for you to do that, it is the best way to purchase your dry goods. So this is pancake mix, but you could do Bisquick in here. You could use it for a regular size box of cereal. You can use it again for pastas. You can stand pasta noodles up like your spaghetti and lasagna noodles and place those in here. If you're buying larger amounts, they'll fit from the front to the back. So you can definitely use that as well. And then our tallest is the 5, and the 5 is great for your bulk size containers of cereal. You can also use this, again, I buy my rice in bulk because we tend to cook with that. Again, I don't necessarily cook all the time, but I know that I'll use that within a year of this entire container. So it's a great investment to just purchase it this way. I have one of these with protein powder if you do protein shakes. It's a great size for that. You can do 48 taco shells in here. You can hold a 2-pound bag of mini pretzels. You can also use this for 5 pounds of flour, this particular container, if you want it in a container where you can pour. Now, again, you can still scoop in here. I just happen to use the rectangular for my flour and sugar. That is what size works best in my cabinets. So those are the Super Ovals. And now I want to share some ideas of what I use the regular square, rectangular containers for. So this is our rectangular one, and I have in here, this is my like hidden container. I use it for Oreos to hide those if I don't want everybody to see them. I also use that for croutons. I use it for nuts. Did you know that when you store your nuts in the freezer, they do last quite a bit longer? So I have a container of different pecans, and nuts are expensive. So I have pecans and I have walnuts in my freezer, and they do last much longer that way. These also stack. Now with these, for the rectangular, we only have the size 1, 2, 3, and then a 4. We do not have a rectangular in a 5 height, but we do have it up to a 4. And probably I use the sizes a lot, but I do probably use the rectangular 2 the most of any size out of the rectangular containers. I have probably 12 or 16 of them. And this one I have like instant oatmeal packets. If you buy instant oatmeal packets, we use both regular loose oatmeal and also instant oatmeal packets. So I keep the packets in here because remember, anything that's going to be knocked over and everything I want to take out and put in these containers too. So I'm going to save myself some space. I have hot chocolate packets in here. I use it for a bag of potato chips will fit in here. A bag of pretzels will fit in here. You can use it if you're buying the bulk bags of Tostitos scoops. The scoops don't need as much space as the triangular shaped or the Doritos, so you can put those in here. If you're doing Doritos or the triangular shaped tortilla chips, you can place those in a rectangular 3. You need a little more room because it needs air because of those shapes. I also use, let's see, what am I not thinking? Oh, granola bars, Pop-Tarts. I also put in here, this will hold 4 sleeves of saltines. You can use it to do graham crackers. That'll hold a box of graham crackers. It will also hold, let's see, marshmallows you could fit in there. I usually put 2 bags of marshmallows because in the summertime we do a lot of s'mores, so I usually buy 2 bags at a time. That'll fit in there. You can use it for pastas as well, or any kind of dry goods. I have a you could fit a 5-pound bag of sugar in here as well. I have in this one, I do a little more baking, so I have my sugar in a rectangular 3. This is a 10-pound bag of sugar, and I also use that for some other things that I can stack in here. And I have my confectioner sugar as well, but the largest size again is the 4 in this set. And in here I have all those little pudding boxes and things that knock over and don't stay fresh as long and get in the way in your cabinet. I just stick them all inside these containers. One other thing that I do is in my drink cabinet, I like to use one of the rectangular 3 containers or even a 4, and I put loose seals. So this has all this seals for my little cups in here so that I'm not looking all over for them and they're not falling all over the place. I don't use a seal on it, but it is in my cabinet so that it's easy to find the matching tops to the cups that I'm using on a regular basis. Our Oval 1 is a nice container for your baking soda. However, if you store baking soda in your cabinet open, and you store, how many of you probably also store it in your refrigerator or freezer, what happens is that absorbs all the odors that are in your refrigerator and freezer. Well, it's doing the same thing in your cabinets as it's doing there. And what happens is if you go to make a cookie recipe that you've always made and it doesn't quite come out, if you've seen that it's like flatter or it doesn't quite taste right, that's probably because your item has gone bad. And so you do want to place those items in here because they're absorbing all the odors that you have in your kitchen. If you're cleaning, if you're cooking, if you have candles on, any of those sprays that you're using, those odors absorb into any of your open foods and can cause them to change the way that they are supposed to react when they are baking or being cooked. So this is a great container for your baking soda, but also you can use the super oval one as well, either one of those. This is also my favorite container to share with you, though. I use it for the blocks of cream cheese because you can place your block of cream cheese after you've opened it in here and it won't get all hard and crusty or even moldy as easily. I mean, it can get moldy after several weeks or so, but it will stay fresh in here. You can also use it for 2 sticks of butter side by side if you wanted, or just as a butter dish for 1 stick of butter. We do have the square container, and this is also my container this is the only container I have that has a square size, and it uses my Hershey's dark cocoa because I do bake a lot with the dark cocoa, so I do keep that in here, and I put the information on the front of it as my label. I just want to show you some of the things in my cabinets so that you can see what it looks like. I'm going to put these back in here. And at any time, you're welcome to reach me by email or phone. You're welcome to call or text or comment on any of my posts as well. Oh, another thing with the rectangular 1 container is you can use that for 100 tea bags. Your teas and things go bad faster, so once you put it in a container, it does last quite longer and save you taste when you're using that as well. Alright, so I'm going to set this in here and you can have a look at my cabinet, but again, please feel free to ask any questions at any time. How do I switch it? Well, I guess I have to do it this way because it's not letting me switch. But this is my cabinet. I don't have a traditional pantry that I can use, so I've done a makeshift cabinet pantry, and so that's my cabinet. Thanks for watching.